Imagine spending millions of dollars to build a legal fortress, only to have a federal judge walk in and knock down 10 of your 13 walls before the battle even starts. Most people would take that as a sign to pack up and negotiate a peace treaty. But if you're Blake Lively, you don't pack up, you post a Canva-templated manifesto to 35 million people and double down. Over the last 72 hours, the It Ends With Us legal saga has officially spiraled from a messy Hollywood feud into a total high-stakes gamble. Blake Lively is reportedly ignoring the pleas of her own legal team and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, as she marches toward a May 18th trial date that could either vindicate her or permanently dismantle the relatable queen brand she spent 20 years building. The factual reality of this week's settlement fail is a masterclass in stubbornness. On Monday, April 6th, lawyers for both sides sat down with a magistrate judge in New York for one last attempt at a deal. This was the last exit before the trial. But according to court filings and reports from the blast, both parties walked away in a total stalemate. This comes just days after a brutal ruling for Lively, where Judge Louis Lyman dismissed the vast majority of her claims. The judge essentially ruled that the sexual harassment allegations couldn't proceed because Lively was an independent contractor, and more importantly, he noted that creative experimentation on a film set doesn't equal a civil rights violation. This leaves Lively with a significantly narrowed case focused only on retaliation and breach of contract. But instead of settling a case that has lost its biggest teeth, Lively is insisting on going to a jury. The public reaction to this never-back-down attitude has shifted from support to genuine confusion. Viral clips of the court's 152-page opinion are being dissected by legal creators on TikTok, and the consensus is that Blake is currently playing a very dangerous game. The social media debate has taken a sharp turn. If the sexual harassment claims are gone, why is she still fighting? Critics are labeling her recent Instagram stories, where she talks about digital violence and protecting children on phones, as a PR crash out. They see it as an attempt to reframe a contract dispute as a moral crusade. The sentiment online is shifting toward the idea that Blake isn't fighting for safety anymore. She's fighting for her ego. This situation escalated because it's no longer just about a movie set. It's about the Lively Reynolds machine versus the truth. For months, there have been whispers that Blake's team is begging her to stop. Reports suggest that even Ryan Reynolds has major reservations, fearing that a public trial will unearth text messages and emails that make them look like the powerful elites Justin Baldoni has accused them of being. Context is everything here. Baldoni has spent the last year launching his own counteroffenses, including a $250 million libel suit against the New York Times for their coverage of the feud. He's not playing defense anymore, he's playing for total exoneration. At Original Commentary and Analysis, what does this say about influencer culture and the girl boss archetype in 2026? It says that the victim narrative is reaching its expiration date. In the past, a celebrity of Blake's stature could use a well-placed interview and a few Instagram posts to bury a co-star. But in a post-2024 landscape, the audience is hyper-aware of PR spin. By framing her remaining retaliation claims as the heart of the case, Blake is trying to maintain the moral high ground, but she's doing it in a way that feels increasingly unhinged to a public that can read a court ruling for themselves. It affects her reputation by making her look litigious rather than wronged. If she goes to trial, and a jury finds that she was actually the one retaliating, the damage to her brand will be irreversible. Maintain a conversational tone, but let's look at the digital violence of it all. Blake is now arguing that the way this lawsuit has been packaged as celebrity drama is a form of abuse. It's an interesting pivot. She's essentially trying to sue the concept of the internet. But at the same time, her legal team has been the one filing the 150-page complaints and seeking subpoenas for everyone from Taylor Swift to Scooter Braun. You can't be the one who starts the digital soap opera and then complain that people are watching the episodes. We have to separate the confirmed details from the online theories. It is a confirmed fact that Blake and Justin rejected the settlement this week. It is a confirmed fact that she will testify on May 18th. The online theories, however, are focused on the why. Some believe that Blake is trying to protect a specific secret about the production of It Ends With Us that hasn't come out yet, something involving Taylor Swift's alleged rewrite of the film. Others theorize that she simply can't afford to settle because a settlement would look like an admission that her claims were exaggerated. There is also a viral theory that Ryan Reynolds is distancing himself from the legal strategy, which is why we've seen him less involved in the recent As Ever and Aline brand launches. The pacing of this legal war has been relentless. We went from floral press tour to 152-page federal ruling in the blink of an eye. The analytical tone of a judge's ruling, dismissing 10 claims, is a sharp contrast to the punchy, emotional language Blake uses in her Instagram stories. It feels like two different realities are colliding, the reality of the law and the reality of the brand. This leads us to a bigger industry question. Can a perfect celebrity brand survive a messy trial? We saw what happened with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. No one truly wins a trial like this. Everyone just comes out looking a little more human and a lot more flawed. If Blake Lively, the woman who has it all, is shown in court to be a micromanager who launched a coordinated digital attack on a director, the Gossip Girl magic is officially dead. The unresolved tension is the May 18th trial date. We are just weeks away from seeing these two face off in a Manhattan courtroom. Will Justin Baldoni bring the actual evidence his lawyers are bragging about? Will Blake be able to convince a jury that she was the victim of a smear campaign, while she herself has 35 million followers and a husband who owns a marketing agency? The upcoming response possibility is a pre-trial media blitz. Expect to see Blake in a vulnerable long-form interview where she talks about the toll of the case, or perhaps another series of unsealed texts that change the narrative. But for now, the settlement exit has been passed. The off-ramp is gone. Ultimately, Blake Lively is betting her entire $200 million reputation on 3 remaining legal claims. She's ignoring her team, she's ignoring her husband's reservations, and she's ignoring the judge's narrowing of her case. She wants her day in court to tell her story in full. But in a courtroom, you don't just get to tell your story, you have to prove it. And as the May 18th date looms, the world is wondering, is she fighting for justice, or is she just unable to accept a loss? Do you think Blake is being brave by refusing to settle, or is she making a massive mistake by taking a narrowed case to a jury?